Hello everybody, I'm Carl Latham and I'm the simulation developer for the Wales and Borders series of simulations for SimSig. Cardiff is one of the newest Wales and Borders simulation to be released, and it's got some features which haven't been seen before in other simulations. So this tutorial will be talking about half and slotted routes between the West workstation, which controls Cardiff Central platform 0 to 4, and the TAF workstation, which controls Cardiff Central platform 6 and 7. So here we've got 2 Victor 29, which is the 1345 Corriton to Rada service operated by Arriva Trains Wales, just on approach to Cardiff Central platform 7. And we've also got 5 Tango 30, which is the 1351 Cardiff Central to Cardiff Central via Ninian Park shunt move, ready to form a service to Treherbert. Now with these trains we'll be looking at how we set routes on the TAF panel involving the simulation divides, which are labelled with the letters in the braces. Now you'll notice on the screen here you've got some detail about the slot, and unlike most other SimSig slots, the slot is currently shown with a red roundel. This is accurate to the real Cardiff PSB, and that's been replicated exactly as is in the sim. Now the one thing that wasn't in the real PSB was this request roundel. That's because the signaller on the TAF panel would have been stood next to the signaller on the West panel, and they would have had a chat about things they were going to do rather than pushing buttons to request routes. So 2 Victor 29 needs to perform his station duties, and we'll get a train ready to start indication for him. Now he needs to head towards Rada via the City line, so that brings him on the down Barrow Relief line, on the up and down Treforest, and then on the up Treforest away towards Waingron Park and Rada. So once he TRTS's, which should be in the next few seconds, we'll get him on the way. There it is. So we click 416 signal, and then we click on 318, and the route sets there. Now you notice the route for this train doesn't disappear from the TAF workstation. We can see the entirety of the route. So you just set that route exactly as you would in any other simulation, and we'll speed things up to get him out of the way. Now 5 Tango 30, his next location is Cardiff Central platform 6. Now the slot only applies to routes on the TAF workstation, which start and end on the TAF workstation and travel via the C and B sim boundaries. It's C there and B there, so they cut across the West station panel, and therefore they're slotted. If you're playing this in single player, you can ignore the part about requesting the slot, but if you're playing this in multiplayer, pressing the request roundel, which will flash, and you can right click to cancel it, left click to request, will cause an indication on the West workstation to flash, letting your colleague know that you need the slot removed. Now to release this slot, it works like a ground frame. You left click on the free roundel, and that will set the slot flashing. Now this flashing indication tells the West workstation that he's granted the slot to the TAF workstation, but that the slot has not yet been taken. So the TAF signaller then sets his route, and this is done by clicking the entry signal 323 and pressing the exit signal 425, and you'll notice that the route has gone in straight across the simulation boundaries. The slot roundel has turned white, and the corresponding indication on the West workstation will turn to a solid white, letting the West signalman know that you have taken use of the slot. 5 Tango 30, once the drive wakes up, will move off towards Cardiff Central, and just as he passes the signal and the route drops out, this, if you're playing in a version of the simulation without Tor will only happen once you manually cancel the route. In this case, as we're playing with Tor on, the route's dropped out automatically, and the slot has gone back to red for the TAF signaler because the slot has been used. It's a one-shot slot. Once you've used it, you need to take it again. Corresponding indication on the west has turned red, and you'll notice the normal indication is flashing. This is letting the west signaler know that he needs to return the slot. You do this by right-clicking on the free roundel, and the slot is restored, ready for further use. Now what we'll do for the purpose of this tutorial is just change the head code over to 2 Tango 30, and we'll set the onward route for this train to get him off the simulation while we show you how to deal with cross-boundary routes. The slot text here is accurate to the real panel, and it applies for routes from 639, 323 and 645, which start on the TAF panel, go across the C and B divides to the west workstation and end on the TAF. All of these routes are set by pressing the entry signal, whichever one is appropriate, and pressing the relevant exit signal, which is either platform 6, platform 7 or the exit triangle at Cardiff Central Riverside. Now we have another train at 6 Zulu 97, which is a rather late running 1346 Canton Taffvale sidings to 7 Tunnel Junction sidings. It's formed of a Tampa unit. Now this train will be starting at 323 signal, and he will need to end up at Cardiff Central. Now on his timetable he hasn't got a line code at Cardiff Central, so it's up to the signaler which way it's routed. Now the normal way to route these moves is for them to end up on the up main at Cardiff Central. So what the TAF workstation will do is the signaler will click his entry signal, and then he will press the corresponding grey exit triangle to the boundary he wants it to travel towards. In this case we're going to send it to boundary E. Now you'll notice the signal hasn't cleared to a proceed aspect, and this is because only the first half of the route has been set. I will cheat slightly here, and I will early interpose the head code for the purposes of this tutorial. You'll notice on the west workstation 6 Zulu 97 has appeared in the E divide approach berth. Now what we do here is the west signaler clicks his red entry triangle, and in this case we want to go to the up main, so we'll press our up main signal 25, and you will see the route set. The red exit triangle turns to white because the route has approved. All the points in the route have been detected, there's no overlap available, and correspondingly signal 323 has stepped up to a proceed aspect. Now there are quite a few variations on the divides. I won't go through them in full detail here. It's best for you to play the sim, work out what you can do, what you can't do. The only exception to these half routes, as they've been done by the development testing team, is the G divide for the Leckwith branch. Now this isn't a half route. Pressing your entry signal and the exit button will set the route as normal. There's no half routing involved in the Leckwith branch. All the other boundaries, A, B, C, D, E and F, all involve half routes, and there is a bit more detail in the manual on which routes are available. Thank you for watching, and I hope this tutorial has been helpful to anyone who will be playing the simulation.